Hello, everybody. Welcome to Lunch and Learn. Today is Thursday, May the 16th, and this is Greg, one of the technical trainers. Thanks for coming. It looks like we have a few people coming in now. If you have any questions today, go ahead and drop them in the chat so we can take a look at them and do our best to answer. We'll take a few minutes before we start. Okay, it looks like we do have a question from James. James is asking about database integrations and moving them between environments via the repo. So James, why don't you expand? I'm going to allow you to talk. Go ahead and tell us a little bit more about what exactly that you would like to do.
Okay, so I've set up some database integrations to our ERP databases,
Hmm.
and I've written queries with the add query function when you set up the integration
Hmm.
to actually query the database and get the results. And then I use that query in flows to collect, let's say, approver lists or something like that.
Okay.
Um, what I'm finding is when I try to migrate that, um, because it's talking to a specific, like we have several environments. We have like development, Q&A, prod, okay? And each of those environments in our ERP system are connected to a specific database for that environment.
You
So,
said, say that again. I'm having trouble hearing you, James. They're
oh,
connected to what exactly?
they're connected, the database connections that I made in decisions are connected to specific environmental databases within our ERP system. So like dev decisions is connected to our dev ERP database.
Okay.
It's the same application on the ERP side. It's just we have a dev, a Q&A, and a prod,
Okay.
that we move up the stack with. Um, Typically in our ERP applications, we can migrate like any queries we make straight up the stack without having to recreate those queries. But I'm
Hmm.
finding that in decisions, because it's an integrated database connection, and that query that I wrote against the database is connected just to that database. I'm finding that when I try to migrate, well, check in, I guess is the word for,
Yeah, after you check in or check out, you
yeah,
just don't
I
have
always
those
used
same
to want to use
queries.
the word migrate. Yeah, but it's
Hmm.
still connected to the previous, like if I migrate from dev to Q&A,
Yeah,
that integration and its queries are still connected to dev um, on the ERP side.
right.
So, and I can't create the connection to our Q&A in dev and then then migrate that up and like create all the connections in dev and then as I migrate up they'll be connected the same way. It just doesn't work that way. And I was just
Right.
wondering, am I missing, is there some way to do that, or do I just really just in each environment I have to recreate those connections, recreate those queries, and then
Hmm.
reconnect them to my flows? Because there's a whole series of things I have to do now
Right, right. A lot of
um,
steps.
to make that work. And that seems kind of impractical to me, but I mean, maybe that's just the way it's going to have to work because it's an integrated, an integration versus a, native decisions query, which would
Right.
probably migrate just fine.
Hmm.
I don't know
That's
if anybody else out there has use cases where they do something similar and how they how they manage that. I'm sure there
Right.
are.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm sure people have hit the same point that you have. And yeah, I mean, I'm definitely not a repo expert. I can find out and help you that way for sure. My instinct is that you may have to for, it may be intentional for security compliance protocols more than anything else. But again, I would need to look into that and find out for
yeah,
sure because it
yeah,
seems like it would sort of be intuitive. Well, hopefully it would be intuitive. If you could do those things, you can make it happen. So if you're finding, roadblocks, then it may be intentional.
yeah.
That's my instinct.
Yeah, well, and I'm thinking maybe I'm just setting it up wrong. Maybe there's a way to set it up because here's the deal. I mean, not only do I have to reset up the connection in each new date in each new environment, so that it points to the correct environment on our ERP side, but then
Hmm.
I would have to go in and actually change the flows and what query it's calling in that flow
Right.
because it's now connected to a different one. There's from the previous. Um, environment. Like if I migrate from dev to Q&A, well, now the Q&A code, the flow step in there is pointing back, to the dev
Right. Right. You
thing.
know what? I see Jeremy's added that he has done it. He's added some queries to the repo and then to prod. I'm
Okay.
gonna Jeremy, if you don't mind speaking up and sharing what you've done, that can shed some light for us.
Yeah, I might have missed some of the conversation, but yeah, I have like database connections that I'm pulling data from other systems in our organization, and those connections I've added to the repo, added them to projects to then pass them through repo into our prod environment. I
Yeah.
Okay.
haven't had any issues with that.
So I think the sticking point with me is that each of those connections, like the dev connection, and I'm getting a lot of feedback right now, but
They actually have a disclaimer.
Yeah. Sorry, maybe on
no, that's
my
okay.
end, there's a lot of background noise here
Okay,
too.
okay. I just want to make sure it wasn't my mic or my.
No, I apologize.
That's fine. So my issue is that the integration I make in dev is to our dev ERP system database.
Hmm.
The one I would make in the connection I would need in Q&A would have to connect to our Q&A ERP database, which is essentially the same structure, but it's a different physical database because as the ERP system, migrates its projects up through, it's pointing to different database, just like we are in decisions.
Yeah, I
Sure.
was thinking like you could still migrate them, the connection and all that, and then all you would have to do in your Q&A is just modify the database connection to point to a different database, and everything else stays the same. You have to change one
You know
thing.
what? You know what?
Correct.
I never thought about
Hmm.
because when I set up the connection, you're probably right. I just would have to go in and
To point
redo the
it to that
connection.
database.
Correct, because the let's see, under the databases, when in the integration databases, all those databases that are listed there and the queries connected to those are just connected to that folder, right? And whatever database connections behind that is what's driving where it actually connects.
Correct.
Mhm.
Yeah, so like if on each, like if you have a database for dev and a database for Q&A, as long as all the tables are named the same and formatted the same in both
Exactly.
places, yeah, all you
Yeah.
have to do is change in Q&A, that connection is now looking at the other
Right,
database, and then
right.
everything else
Mhm.
should run smoothly from there.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
that makes
Jeremy's
sense, and that's
100%
what I was
correct.
missing. That's
Yeah.
what I was missing. So what I need to do instead of in dev, see, I've been naming the connections like SDev CS, which is our development campus solutions database. So instead of doing that, I would just say campus solutions database.
Right.
And
Mhm.
then as I migrate up the stack, I would just physically go into that integration and edit it and point it to the Q&A database. And then all the queries stay the same.
Mhm.
So when I migrate, I check in the things in the Q&A, all the dependencies as far as the query and stuff come along with it, and they don't change.
Exactly. Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was missing. All right.
Mhm.
I was hoping it would be something that simple.
Nope.
Because I was looking at like, man, now I got to go in and change my the flows,
No,
the
Yeah, that would be
queries, I gotta
miserable.
reset them up. Yeah, that's miserable. That's like, that's no way. Decisions has to handle this one. And it was just
Yeah.
That kind
the
of
way I
defeats the
set it up.
purpose of having the repo in between everything.
It does,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yep.
So, okay. And then I guess I could even write a flow to go along with the repo that would change those connections for me, depending on what environment I'm going into. Right? I mean, I could technically do that as well. So I wouldn't have to physically go in and do that because I may have several different database connections that from that environment that I need to change.
Mhm.
So I could write something that would do that.
And this is also a great conversation too, because James, another thing that you also want to think about is you can also do like one of my coworkers, Josh, he loves this. Is basically like you have like a system like level of constants of like, hey, this is the main connection string that you'll be connecting to, and you can make that part of the project, and then you just connect to that constant, right? And then when you migrate that over, then you can just change that system-wide constant that all of your flows are referencing to your live connection string, right?
Wow.
So
Okay. I
you
need
can
to
do
get
that
more.
as well.
Okay. Is there documentation on that? Because that's the first I've heard of that. So
Really? Okay.
yeah.
Gotcha. Let me show you. Yeah, let me set up some time on let's see. I wonder if I can do that real quick. Where you can set up the connection string and then you can override it. Yeah.
Yeah, the
So
constants thing,
I'll
the
stop
system-wide
sharing
constant,
if you
that's an
want to
intriguing
show that.
concept in and of itself that I would love to
yeah. Let me
explore.
show you. I think let's do that. Let's lunch and learn right now. I think I can share that. So like what you can do here is now, can you see my screen should show
Yep.
decisions?
Yep, I
Perfect.
got it. Yeah.
So if I go here to settings and I
Yeah.
go to settings and right, we go to, or maybe it's not here. It's the designers, lookup list and constants, right? You can create your own constants here and I can add a defined constant.
Okay.
And I can say, this is my updated DB connection.
Okay.
Or I'll say this is, my DB connection.
Right.
If I can spell, I can't spell right now. And let me just grab a connection string. Example, obviously this one wouldn't work, but example connection string. Perfect. I'm just going to grab this one. Obviously, this one won't go anywhere because it's just blank. So this will be just a string. The value is going to be this. Save that. So I have my DB connection string. Now, if I go to my flows, what I can do to make this a lot easier is I can just reference. I'm just going to go to any flow. Test my process. And now if I go back to my data explorer and I go to system contents, I'll now have my DB connection. And so another thing you can do that I think VT talked about is you can also override the connection string on those steps. And you can say select from flow and grab my DB connection string, right? So if I have let me see if I can find a run query step to kind of show this. Query, database. I think there's a raw SQL. And I think I could change the query. Oh, can I not change the connection string? Darn it. I'm going to find one. Database.
Be under integration and then database.
Thank you. Yeah, I always forget that there's two. Integration, database, and then, yeah. Let's say run defined query. And this one should have, oh, that's just the defined query. There's just one. I just want to show you like there's a specific like step that allows you to I think I probably have one here. Run a query that I can override the, there we go. This is what I'm looking for. You can override the connection string and then you can pass that in, select from flow to your system contents, my DB string.
Okay.
And you can grab that as a variable. And let's say you go to dev and you've referenced this single variable throughout your entire project. And you say, hey, I just need to update it. Then you just update that value there. And then across all your stuff, it will have the new connection string.
Okay. Okay. So, I mean, really, I could build into my flows, any flows that I'm using that I could build in to check the environment and then change that connection string and away I go, right?
Exactly, 100%. And this makes it easier, right? Because if it does change later on, now you, oh, you updated
Exactly.
once and
Yeah,
then
because I don't have to go into the environment, each
exactly, you have to do it 100
environment
times. Yeah.
Right. I just, and really all I have to do is, can you migrate or check in from dev connection strings that constants, system constants, or do I have to set those up can I migrate those
Yes, you
constants?
can.
Okay.
Yep.
Yes, that would make that, because then I just set them up in dev and then migrate them,
Mhm.
words I'll be using in each flow, I'll interrogate that and change it as I need to. Okay, that would
Exactly.
work. So what I'm doing too, just on those lines, what I'm doing is I'm creating the connection in integrations, the database connection. So I need to change that to make it more nebulous. But then what I'm doing is I'm adding a query there. I can still do the same thing when you do the add query, and then it's in integrations, and you find your database, and it has the query listed under there if you do that.
Talk about this or create a new.
Yeah, query right there, and you just set, and then it puts that query out under your when you're looking for the step. It'll put it out under your database connection under I believe it's integration or something like that. So I can change that there as well. I think it's under integration.
Yep, integration databases.
Right.
I think where's that?
Query test, I think, is the one you just did, right?
Yep. Oh, there we go. Run query test I was looking for. Yeah, run query test. Yep. Override connection string. Yeah.
Gotcha. So okay. So that's that. All right. Let me play with this. I think that's the way I'm gonna do that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, guys. That takes a load off my mind.
I'm glad that helps,
sweating it
James.
there because we that's what we're basically. I mean, decisions is basically just going to be a pass through for a lot of information. So we're connecting the databases all over the place, and these databases, are connected to different environments as you go up a stack. As you migrate things. So I need to be able to keep that consistent, and not have to go into each time I migrate to Q&A or prod and change a lot of stuff. That would be a nightmare. Cool. I appreciate your help, guys. That really helps.
My pleasure.
All right, it looks like we do have another question in the chat from Andy. Andy is asking, let's see, Andy, you still there? Yeah. Andy's asking, why can't I import or export multiple items? Looks like you already have a support ticket in for this, and the support page is handling screenshots really badly. So tell us, it looks like I did look at that ticket real quickly, Andy. It looks like this could be because of an update to a newer version. I'm going to allow you to talk and you can expand on that part exactly. Go ahead.
Well, I don't think so. We've had the same version for quite some time. I know this because I file and I have filed a number of tickets with you. Most of the time you ask what's your current version, and so I go into the so I go and get the current version, and it's been the same for quite some time. But it used to be that I could click the multiple select little square and check 2 or more items.
Right.
The group menu included import export, and now it no longer does. That's all I know.
Okay, so in the past, you've gone in, checked your version here, you see what version it is, but you're saying this time you don't think it's because of the version update, but did you actually update the version and see the difference, or did it in fact happen before the update?
I don't know when the update was.
Okay.
I don't think so. I mean, wait a minute. Well, what was your version number?
Well, when I go to about here, I am on 8.17.
8.17, but so am I, but no, I'm on 8.19. Okay. But I mean, we've been on 8.19 for quite some time.
So you're saying you could go in to a designer project. I'm just going to use, this is from the last time.
No, you don't have to go into it.
No?
No.
You could select.
Just do the multiple select. Go to the upper right corner.
And you could select this one.
Right. Now you click that and it says import export. Now check. Right. But check the wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute, slow
Check
down.
multiple. Yeah, check multiple.
Mhm.
So on the top
Hit-
left,
Hit the, no.
Up here, the multi-select.
right? Is that what
No,
you're talking about? Okay.
right.
Mhm.
Where's
Oh.
import export?
So,
I see what you're saying. Okay, because
Yeah.
import export. Go ahead and just
I
click
mean-
select one, Greg.
yeah,
Import
so
export.
export for
And so
one, but
before,
not
were
for
you able
all of
to,
them.
and before you were able to do this from multiple,
Yes.
right?
And now I
Interesting.
can't anymore.
Mhm.
And I mean,
Huh.
come on, you've got to be able to import and export multiple objects. Also, if I have, and the other way around, if I have multiple decobj files in my Explorer, I
Mhm.
cannot select multiple decobj files and drag them and drop them.
I believe, yeah, what you'd have to do in that regard is I think you'd have to create a zip file. I think if you create a zip
Okay,
file and
but I
drag them
mean-
over, you can it'll work that way.
Right, but I mean, really you have to take that trouble? You can't do a multiple selection. Let's say I exported 5, but I want to import back just 3, I have to make it, take the trouble to make a zip file just for the 3. That's it's
I
not
believe
either
so.
simple or intuitive.
Sure,
You
I can
should be
ask.
able
I
to
can take it offline and ask. I'm just, but this, I've never seen this issue, but I'm glad you showed it to me because that's interesting. I learned something. So I
Yeah.
can definitely research about it and send you an
Yeah.
email.
Yeah.
Well, there is
Now,
a support ticket already for this. so
Yeah,
we
I
can
referred to
just
it in the
expand to
chat.
this.
But
Okay,
also,
gotcha.
I mean, in the Windows Explorer, you should be able to select multiple decobj files and multiple zip files with deck objects in the decisions objects in them. Select all of those and drag them in. They all should be imported.
Gotcha.
But I mean, oh my gosh, I've just created, this big old form with a data grid, and I had to create several other objects to support it, and I had to export them one by one, and then and then switch over to from our dev to our QA, and then import them one by one, and I had to make sure I did it in dependency order.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, wait a minute. What?
Works here. So it may be because of the data type. Maybe you can export all of the objects that are of the same data type or the same
Oh, you
type
got
and not
two
different ones.
Well,
Wait a
this
minute,
one's already
you've
part
got
of a
reports
project.
and rules.
Yeah, and I think this one's already part of a project too, because I think and I mean this could be a wrong assumption. So Andy, is it when it's not a part of a project already, or is it when it's part of a project?
Just wanted export. They're all part of the same project. I have a whole bunch of items in the same project,
Mhm.
and I just want to,
Yeah, be able to do multiple. Gotcha. Okay.
yeah. And I mean, that whether it's in the same project or not really shouldn't matter.
Right. I'm more trying to just narrow it down because I know what Greg showed. I saw that, okay, you can have it if it's already part of a project. And so I was just more just
Mhm.
trying to narrow it down and verify your situation. Because if we go to the lunch and learn, so go to the lunch and learn folder on the bottom,
Mhm.
Greg. Right. This is not part of a project as we can see here because it's blank, right?
Oh,
But
no,
if
I
we-
got a part of a project.
Okay,
Most
so it's already
definitely.
part. I got you. Okay, because I know
Yeah.
if you grab if Greg right clicked the lunch and learn and said add to project, then it would add all the contents. That was a
Okay.
workaround I was going to recommend, but because now I know that's not relevant because it's already part of a project.
Can I share my screen and just show you? And I want to show you the support page issue too, if I could.
Unfortunately, we can't because we're going to post this on YouTube and we don't want any sensitive information that you may have to be posted on there. So unfortunately, we're not allowed to allow.
All right. Well, I need to show someone what's going on with the support page. What's going on is that I go to the support page and I click on a ticket and I scroll down the right side panel where there were screenshots, and all the screenshots are wrong. They show up all stretched and everything, but they're showing the wrong screenshot. They show up the screenshot that I most recently pasted on another ticket. It's absolutely bizarre. And then
Gotcha.
what's worse is I hit reply to ticket, so I get the box in the middle of the screen. I've already taken a screenshot. I click in the middle of the box, I do a control V, and a different picture shows up. Another screenshot that I had pasted at another ticket last week. Like, so I need to show this to somebody because it's hard to describe. But
Gotcha.
what is going on here?
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. I would definitely do Greg, if you can send me that ticket, I'll send out a message to the support technician and
Yeah.
you can see if they can reach out to you and get on a call with you so you can demonstrate that to them.
Okay, yeah, like the number is in the chat.
Yep.
Perfect. Okay, awesome.
All righty.
Thanks, Andy.
All right, that's what I had. Thanks. Bye-bye.
All right. Any other questions? So James asks, how do I edit my DB connection once created? Along the same
Hey,
vein.
Derek. Yeah,
Hey.
I am, I know I've done this before. I'm probably just having a brain fart here, but when I
Sure.
right click on the, the database integrations database, right click on the connection, there used to be, I swear, there used to be like an edit connection on there. Now there's just the edit database definition advanced, but I can't see the edit connection anymore, where I used to be able to just go in and edit the connection and change the connection strings and things of that nature.
Gotcha. Let's see. I think I read that with edit query.
Not the query, the connection itself. So if you go to the integrations,
I'm trying to remember that integration.
it's under integrations.
That's right.
Yeah, and then databases, and then let's say you wanted, well, you don't want to edit that local one, but
Yeah,
let's say you
absolutely,
wanted
break
to.
it.
Let's say you wanted to.
Yeah, can
Where would
I-
you go? Because there you used to get this page here where I could
Do
go
I
in
have-
and change things on there.
Well,
But
I have
don't see
another.
that anymore.
Let me log into another project. I know I have. There's another project I have that I think. Oh wow, that's really small.
It's just been a while since I set these up, so I know I've gone in and edited them before. I thought I had. Maybe you can't do it. But
Yeah, I just
Um,
use the edit database definition and it lists the connection string there. I mean, it's not like the nice
right,
individual
it's not that. I thought
fields.
you could get back to that other page though, but maybe you can't. Maybe you got to just do the
All
connection.
he's asking is that.
Yeah, I think that's how it
everyone
is
get
after
on
it's
the
created.
line.
It seems to be
Okay.
anyway.
Yeah, I'm testing it too. That seems to be,
Okay,
I mean,
maybe
you
I'm
have a-
just thinking wrong. Maybe I thought I had gone in and edited them before.
No, I think that it used to be that way. I remember being able to do that before too, I think. But it might have been changed in more recent versions.
Yeah, so I need to study that connection to see how that's set up. 'Cause
Yeah, let
that's
me check.
not the way. Let's see.
Yeah, let me log into this environment. We can just confirm. All right, because I know there's a project we have that actually has an external database connection. I think it's this one. Integrations, databases. Yeah, we do. So if I right click, and we can take a look at this if it's not too slow. As we're waiting on that, I want to make this a little bit bigger because it's 75%. Ah, that's so much better. Edit database definition advanced. This one? Is that what you're talking
Yeah,
about?
no, that's the one I can see. You can't see, like, if you click on create connection,
Mm-hmm.
that nice page that comes up with the more legible, like, just hit.
Oh,
create
you're talking about
connection.
this? Oh,
Yeah,
like
that,
this?
where you got the server name, your database name. If, that's what I'm used to seeing this. And if you drop down that MySQL there, you'll see Oracle,
Yeah.
and that's where I can put on, because we use Oracle databases. So
Yeah.
I'm setting it up via Oracle. So I want to get this page so I can massage this stuff. If I need to, and I thought I could, but
Yeah,
maybe you
I
can't.
don't think we could. I know like if you can get the data source, and I know there's a great website that I use.
Mhm.
Is it Oracle or maybe it's just there was a website that like shows you how to format connection strings for different databases.
Oh, okay.
Oracle a database string format. Let me see if I can find it. There we go. Oracle's Help Center.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah,
This might be,
okay.
this probably will help you. It's on the Oracle doc site. But basically it tells you how to format the database connection string for your specific database. And then whatever, when you configure that, then you can just paste that in here for this connection string
Gotcha. Okay.
and have all that
Okay.
information. Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Mm.
And don't worry, this database, if you're wondering why I'm showing this database doesn't exist, so that's why I'm not worried about the password here, because it's not
Oh,
live.
yeah, I didn't see it.
Just making sure. It's
Well, there is one of the sprints that has a database connection to one of the
Yeah.
training databases.
Okay, does anybody else have any questions? All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining today, and you have a good rest of your week and weekend, and we'll see you next Monday at Lunch and Learn. Take care.